Thanks for joining me today. This is a video that answers a question, honestly, I get a lot, and it's a really tough question. It's an unimaginable position to be in when you are faced with tragedy or when your community is faced with tragedy, but that seems to be more and more common these days, and my little town suffered an unimaginable, horrific turn of events yesterday. 4 people were shot and killed in a shooting spree. At one point there was a lockdown. Our community, everyone was told to stay inside, to lock their doors, to not leave their homes or their businesses. All the banks were on lockdown, the mall, and it was a really scary day. And not something that I ever, you think that you're ever going to really experience. But we did, and I know a lot of the community is still reeling today, and last night got a message from a marathoner who had a family member that was killed last night. And so she and I have been messaging. We talked last night, we've been messaging today, and then there's been a lot of comments online too, like, what do I do? How do I help? I've been getting messages from marathoners wanting to help this other person who unimaginably lost someone that she loved yesterday in this random, senseless, horrific act of violence. And I thought I would just speak to that today. I'm not an expert, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, I'm just someone who's also been through horrific tragedy myself, and it's interesting to be on the other side of it in this situation and not be like in the center of the storm. So I thought I would just share like what helped me and what maybe you could do if you're feeling like you want to help someone, whatever tragedy that you are going through. If you're watching this 5 years from now, or 3 months from now, or today as I'm filming it. Did I even say hi? My name's Mare, this is the Mareathon, and if you're new to my channel, the tragedy that I'm speaking about that I personally experienced almost 2 years ago in June of 2017, my husband Jeremy committed suicide, and that was my worst nightmare. And I saw the ripple effect that it had in our community as well. And like I said, it's interesting now 2 years later to be on the other side and to be trying to help this marathoner just over Facebook Messenger right now with whatever she needs. So if you're watching this video, obviously something's either happened in your family or your social circle or your community, and I just wanted to say I'm so sorry to the marathoner who I've been talking to for the last few hours who lost a family member yesterday. My heart breaks for you. I know you and I have been talking, but I just wanted to say that in a video, and I've been getting lots of messages from people in the Facebook group asking how they can help you. So you are not alone. Let the community hold you, and let the community be where it is like a safe place for you to land and a soft place for you. I know it doesn't seem like that right now. So if you have been through a tragedy, this is different for everyone, and I'm only going to speak to what helped me and what's also helped me in dealing with previous things that have happened in the community. A few years ago, there was a structure fire in our community and 4 people lost their homes. And I've seen many fires throughout, especially being a reporter and being on the radio. And I'm someone who always is like, how can I help? What can I do right away? And I was seeing that a lot online yesterday. And if you know someone who's lost someone, it doesn't have to be tragic. I mean, it doesn't have to be gun violence or suicide. It could be illness or whatever. I think we're often left with that feeling of helplessness, and we don't know what to do. And then often we don't know what to do, so we do nothing, and then we feel bad for doing nothing, and then more time passes, and it's a snowball effect, and you think, well, I can't do anything now. And that's totally not true. So for me, the things that helped were like, it's great to have support And so like to lean on those people who are supportive. I had wonderful friends, like some slept over and stayed with me and like worked my calendar, took my phone from me. I stopped answering the phone, I stopped answering the door. It was nice to sort of have those like guardians of the gates and like the buffers. Same with when I went out in public, I had someone with me. So that's something you could offer to do, like, hey, can I reschedule anything that maybe you have on the calendar for the next few weeks? Can I take your phone and answer calls because they're coming in left, right, and center? Can I go out with you if you need to go out? Like, there was a lot of things that I didn't need to do, but some of it I did. Like pretty quickly, I needed to go to all the banks for Jeremy's information, and I needed to do a lot of legal work and like go to the federal office and all these things. So, you know, I had a friend come with me and they took notes and they drove, and I just felt really protected. So that's something that's super helpful. You know, people who brought over groceries. Had a neighbor who one morning was like, very soon after, was like, hey, I'm going to Costco, do you need anything? And one of my friends was like, yeah, we'll take some toilet paper. That's not something you think of, but it was so helpful because I had so many people coming to my house. Then I had like a Costco thing of toilet paper. So you might not think that that's really helpful, but like 2 years later, it's still in my mind and it was great. Groceries were great, easy to eat foods were great, smoothies were great, nothing that I had to cook, nothing that I had to prepare. So if you know someone who's lost someone, you know, take a lasagna, take a casserole, take a salad that's already mixed, take like just little bite-sized like muffins, or you know, easy to make, like just all the fixings for a sandwich, or just simple things when you are in the like very beginning of loss or something horrific happening. The last thing you want to do is eat, but it's super important. So if you can just have like easy grab and go things. I was very appreciative of people who specifically asked what Thomas needed. Some of you marathoners did that, and then you brought, you know, specific things that he would have so I wouldn't have to think about it. So if you know someone who's going through loss, try and think of like what could basically just make their life so much easier. And a big thing with this is don't ask them. You can ask, and if they say, I don't know, just take initiative. And you're not gonna be a burden. You're not gonna be like doing too much. If you are, they'll tell you. But like, I never would have thought to ask someone for toilet paper, and I never would have, but to have a friend that said that, and then it was so helpful. Like other friends came and cleaned my house for me, which was amazing. Offered to take Thomas to the park, to take him away like for the day, to make his school lunches. That was a massive thing. There was this woman who offered, Jeremy died at the beginning of June, she offered to make Thomas's school lunches until the end of the year. I will forever remember that and be indebted and like get emotional when I think of it. Just think of ways that you can like practically help. You can't take away their pain, you can't turn around the events, like this horrific thing has happened, but how can you make their day-to-day more simple? Can you offer to, you know, if you know that there's someone who really likes their car clean, like, hey, can I go like gas up your car? I'm gonna wash it or vacuum it or whatever. Just to like little things that might not seem like much, but they are. I promise you that they are. And then if you specifically, personally don't know the person, there are things that you can do. And in a situation like this, where it's obviously rocked the community, yes, it was a targeted shooting, which is still such a like mind F thing to say in our little town. And like, it wasn't a rampage like just randomly. It still affects everyone in town, because either you know someone who's passed, or you know their family, or a friend of a friend. You were on lockdown. Like, that's a terrifying thing. So everyone in this town has now been affected, and this is not an isolated case. This happens in so many towns across the world. And so if you've been affected, there are things that you can do to help you cope and deal. There are numbers you can call. I will link down below for the Canadian Mental Health Association. There are like numbers you can text if you want to talk to someone. Make sure you're talking to each other, like check in. It's okay to be upset about something like this. Even if you're like, why am I upset? I have nothing to be upset about. I wasn't directly affected. You were, we all were. And so it's okay to feel like you want to talk about it, you want to reach out. Not like making it all about you, of course, it's not. These things, how I'm feeling is very minimal compared to, you know, the people who have lost their family members, but you know, you're still affected and your feelings are valid, and however you're feeling, that's valid. I don't want you to negate it or push it down or be like, whatever, it's all good, because we know it's not, and that's okay. I'm not saying that it's good to let it like fester and take over and wallow in it, but take a beat. Feel those feelings, talk to your friends, you know, maybe say like, hey, you want to get together, you want to go for a walk, do you want to do something that will lighten the mood? Another thing that I thought was really poignant was my friend Nikki posted on Facebook either today or yesterday, like a really good way to try and deal with tragedy and like something that's rocked your community is to just be nice. Be nice to strangers, be nice to one another. You know, she said things like, open the door, say hello, smile at someone, pause, pick up some trash, buy the person's coffee behind you, acknowledge other human beings on the street by smiling or saying good morning. You know, it's very simple things that make your community feel safe and warm and loving and supported and supportive. And I remember, like, as I was still in such a fog very soon after Jeremy passed away, even just hearing about like little things like that, or randomly someone doing something nice, it was like, oh right, like there is still good in the world. There's still so much to celebrate and be grateful for. And even though there is this horrific tragedy, I am a testament to, you can get it, you can get through it. You know, you don't like move on from grief, you don't move on from tragedy, but you grow from it, you feel it, and it becomes part of you, but it doesn't have to become such a negative part of you. And you know, that's another reason why I vlog and why I show you my life and why I like show you things that I celebrate, is because I want you to see that yes, even in the most horrific things, like Jeremy killing himself was my worst nightmare, and I hope it's the worst thing I ever go through, but I want you to see that you can still find joy, you can still find those little pockets of light, you can still turn towards like goodness and greatness. There is still greatness in the world. Like, I was disheartened yesterday to read posts like, this is not our community, this is not the town I know, our town's gone to shit, you know. And it's like, no, it hasn't. It's still a warm, loving, supportive community. It is. And I think it's really important to remind yourself of that and to be part of that actively. So whether, you know, you're doing any of those things that I already suggested, or you're just inviting a friend over for dinner this weekend, or you're going for a walk, or you're pausing and like, you know, maybe hugging someone a little bit longer, there is still good in the world. And that has been a big help for me in my grief and in my tragedy that I've gone through. And so many people have had things like this or much worse than this. Not that I like to qualify or quantify grief. It's all just garbage, right? So if you know the person who has suffered a loss directly, there are specific things that you can do. And then if you are someone who doesn't know them, but you're still feeling, you know, affected by this tragedy, try and just put out good into the world. When I'm having a really bad day, another thing that I like to do, which sounds super simple but makes me feel good, is like when I go to IGA, they have those already pre-made bags for the food bank that are like 10 bucks. I like to put one of those in my order, and that instantly makes me feel good. So just try and like do something that's gonna make you feel good, whether it's even just like planting some flowers to bring yourself some joy, or whatever it is, like something positive and productive and bringing life into the world and like light into the world as well. This is a horrific thing that's happened, and we as marathoners will continue to support those who have lost their family members and who will continue to suffer. Doesn't mean the community is a dark place. It doesn't mean the world is a horrific place. There's still light and pockets of joy everywhere, and you just have to search for them, and that's been a huge part of my journey. It just really makes me think also of this quote from Martin Luther King, which says, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that." So with love and light, that is my advice to you. And I hope that we can collectively be the bearers of light and of love and of joy and of peace and calm, and, you know, support those people who have lost someone or who are going through something horrific, but know that there is good in the world, and know that you can do little things. I don't want you to feel like, oh, I can't take it away, I can't solve it, so I'm gonna do nothing. There's little things to do, like toilet paper. I still remember the toilet paper from 2 years ago, or the smoothies, or, you know, the person who was answering my phone for me or answering my door for me. Like, there's little things that you can do, and I promise you it makes a difference. So please let me know if there's anything else that I can do, that I can offer from my experience. I know that these videos help so many of you. I woke up to an email yesterday from someone who had just lost her husband a few months ago, and my heart breaks for every one of those emails that I get, and they come fast and furiously. Honestly, the emails, the DMs on Facebook and Instagram, you would be shocked how many people I hear from. So I hope that tips and little nuggets like this are helpful to you. So thanks for watching. Lace up, subscribe. Life's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Remember that. And in this marathon, we can find light, we can find love, we can find joy. Yes, there is darkness, and yes, we will hold each other up in this darkness, but there is definitely more to it. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.